Meet Ralph and Kelly Bianze, owners of Titan Restoration. They specialize in turning worthless into worthy. With the right team and the right tools, they can make old cars better than new.
Well, I came today to visit my friend Alex Lane, and he told me that he had a project for me to look at. Alex, how are you?
Ralph, always a pleasure. Thank you for
Good
coming
to see
out.
you. So you got something to show me today.
Hi, my name is Alex Lane. I'm an actor and screenwriter, and I also have an educational business. Well, I got two things to show you today, and one of them is Aston Martin I told you about. I just wanted you to hear how this baby sings. Only 99 in the world, and only one that has this color code.
I love the red leather. Wow.
Doesn't it sound beautiful?
It really does. It doesn't look like it needs anything.
No, but you know, the other one does.
Oh, what do we got here?
It's a Porsche. You know, it's a project that has just been sitting around looking for the right time to do something and just never got around to it.
Alex and I met through some mutual friends. Turns out we're both car guys, a little bit obsessed car guys. We just started talking and realized we had a lot of common interest, and we've just remained friends since that point forward.
And I have no idea what happened to it before. You know, it was kind of buy it as is type of situation.
Alex showed me the 73 RS, which kind of took me by surprise, but it's a problem that we can fix. It's a 2.7 RS, but it's missing its 2.7.
That is the main issue. We're missing the engine. So
yeah,
the Porsche is a car that I would hope to make my daily driver. Something I can go to the office, go to meetings, to the set, whatever, you know?
Okay. Well, I mean, you have a couple of choices.
What's that?
The 2.7 is a mechanical injected engine, but if you wanted to resto mod it a little bit, we can put a 3.2 twin plug engine in it. It'll give you around 390 horsepower. We put a 5-speed transmission behind it. It's kind of typical. Someone will buy a car like this thinking, it's easy, I'll just make a phone call, I'll order an engine for it and carpet kit and it'll be done. But it requires a little bit more specialized expertise to do it correctly. I have a friend of mine, Art Berrien Artworks, and he is the master at building air-cooled engines. I trust his engines. He's built several for me personally. I don't build those engines as well as Art Berrien builds those engines. So we'll have Art build the engine for it, and we'll put this car together, and I'm sure that he'll be extremely happy with the end result.
You're the expert. I trust you.
I like the lines. I think I'm starting to like the color.
Well, you know, one of the reasons I bought this car, because the color is very unique. And I think having this car from the 70s with this pink color gives an opportunity to restore it in a very modern way. His idea, his suggestion to up the engine is already a fantastic idea. So I'm just very curious to see what he's going to do, and I can't wait.
Okay, we have the pink RS in. It's got some work that's going to have to go over to the body shop for. It's got some work that needs to be done on the front fender and the hood as well. A little bit of bubbling in here, so there might be some, I suspect, a little bit of rust repair. We'll have Art Berrien build the engine and trans for it, and it should be pretty straightforward. We got the 73 RS from Alex Lane back to the shop. I went over the car quickly with Joel, so we have an idea what we need to do, bodywork-wise, engine-wise. Back here, there's a whole lot of nothing. So, no engine, no transmission. So I need to get Art over here as quickly as possible so he can source the engine and start building the engine for this car. I already have in mind what I'd like to see in this car, and that's a 3.2 twin plug with a 5-speed and a limited slip. I know that's not the easiest build, but I'm really sure that Art Berrien can handle it.
Originally introduced in 1963, the Porsche 911 is a rear-engine, two-door German sports car that is still in production today. It is one of the oldest and longest manufactured vehicles, with over 1 million sold today. In 1973 and 1974, Porsche offered a version of the 911 called the Carrera RS. Carrera was a Spanish word that meant race career, and RS came from the German word Rennsport, meaning race sport. After winning several racing championships, the car earned its name. Compared to the regular Porsche 911, the Carrera RS had a larger engine, 2.7 liters versus 2.4 liters, larger brakes, tires, and fenders, stiffer suspension, and a ducktail spoiler. The changes made for a more race-oriented version of the 911 and dropped the 0 to 60 times from 7.5 seconds down to 5.5 seconds. The cost of the Porsche 911 in 1973 was $10,375, and the Carrera RS was $11,785. Adjusting for inflation, that same car today would cost approximately $67,000.
Whoa! Also
Hey.
available in pink.
Nick Smith,
How are you?
not too bad.
Good to see you. Long time no see.
Yeah, it's been a little while.
Wow, what have you got here? My name's Nick Smith, and I work for Worldwide Auctioneers. I've been appraising cars for about 20 years, buying and selling for dealers and working for auction companies.
Well, I've got a client who wanted a 73 911 RS tribute car as a daily driver.
So, Ralph brought me in for the Porsche today. Started life as a 1973 911T and has turned into a 73 911 RS. It's a fairly common conversion.
It's a pretty nice car to start with. However, I've been tasked with filling the void back here.
Engine delete, okay.
Yeah, so the optional engine delete. What he'd like is a 3.2 twin plug.
73 RS is a phenomenally valuable car and an expensive car, and yet it's absolutely a blast to drive. So replicating something like that just makes it a good fun road car at a very reasonable amount of money. How far are you going to go on the RS front? Brakes, suspension?
It's already got the brakes done, suspension's already done. It's
What
already
brakes
got,
are on there?
It's got the RS brakes on it.
Okay, good. And what are you going to do with the interior?
Interior, I think we're going to kind of leave it alone.
Keeping in mind to how the replica should be built, he's using the correct brakes. RS brakes are a very expensive element to it, but are a very important element. The potential pitfalls, of course, if he goes a little bit too far and spends too much money, it'll be upside down. And then the other way is not going quite far enough. He mentioned the interior and pretty much keeping it as is. I think that's probably going to detract a great deal of the value and the end product if he looks to sell it as such.
Yeah, he wants a limited slip, LSD,
Nice.
and a close ratio of 5-speed.
Nice. He's may as well just drop his license off at the local police station, really. Are you crazy about the pink?
I'm not crazy about the pink. I don't hate it.
It's a
but
big statement.
It wouldn't be my first choice.
It's a big statement. But great car, fantastic project to end up with. Starting point 911, 1973 911, obviously a fairly solid car. So I think the car today is worth probably about $50,000 as it sits. It needs an engine to be built, it needs to be finished off. The end point of that is at least $120,000. With what Ralph will do, it's $150,000. There is a glaring element to this in so much as it is very pink, which I think is probably a factory color, very pink. Good luck with it.
Yeah, that gives him an idea of what the range, how much you should put into it and where you should end up.
And he'll end up with a car that he enjoys. Thanks for showing me.
Thank you very much.
Great thing, very pink.
The 911 was designed to be a larger, more comfortable, and more powerful replacement of the Porsche 356, which was Porsche's first model. Touring and sport lightweight versions of the 911 Carrera RS were available, the latter being a stripped-down version of the car that was lighter, faster, and barely street legal. Ralph is helping a client turn a partially completed Porsche 911 Carrera RS Tribute into a finished one. Aside from paint and restoration, the client also wants an upgraded engine.
This is Alex Lane's car?
Yes, it is Alex Lane's car.
Okay. So what are we doing on this? What does he want? What's our budget? Tell me a little bit about this.
Well, what he wants is he wants to take this car and make it a car that he can drive.
What are we doing with the engine? What's currently in there?
The engine, Art's building an engine for it.
Okay.
So it's going to be a 3.2 CIS injected motor. First and foremost, we got to put an engine in it. So in order to do that, I contacted Art Berrien, and Art Berrien's going to build a 3.2-liter spec motor for that car. Total cost on building out the engine is $15,000. But he didn't have a core to turn in or anything, so that's actually a pretty good deal.
Okay.
Paint to paint the whole front of the car, you're looking at about $2,800.
That's pretty good. I just want to be able to get the paint to match. That's one of my concerns, is that the paint color's not going to match. We don't have to paint the whole car, and that's a really good savings for the customer. But having to match even a small area to an old paint job, a new paint to an old paint, is very, very difficult. And that may take 3 to 6 different repainting to get it right there. And you're going to match it. That's lacquer paint.
Yeah.
You can't use lacquer paint anymore. How are you going to do that?
We'll see how close we can get with modern paint. The wheels are mismatched, and these are 15-inch wheels that we can't really get tires for anymore.
Okay.
So my suggestion was we go to a 17, 8, and 9. It had some 15-inch wheels with some obsolete tires that were 15 years old. So we're going to do away with the 15-inch wheels, and we're going to move up to a 17-inch wheel. It'll fill up the wheel well a little nicer, a little lower profile tire. And we can put Michelin Pilot Sport Cup tires on it, which is basically a street-legal track tire. He wanted to be in the car, because I think he paid around 50 grand for the car. So he wanted to be in this car driving it for under 100. So we're there, but just barely, because we're going to end up spending about 40 grand on this build.
We only have a $40,000 budget, and most of it is being eaten up by the motor. So if anything else goes wrong, we're out of luck. We're going to be in big trouble with this car because our budget is really slim.
This 1973 Porsche 911 Carrera RS Tribute is getting a resto mod. The exterior will get repaired, paint matched, and completed. It will get a custom-built 3.2-liter twin-plug, high-performance engine and transmission, and a new set of wheels and tires.
I am assembling a 915 type transmission for the pink car. I just installed a limited slip differential, and I mate these two together, and we drop it down and we get ready it'll be ready for installation. Hi, my name is Arthur Berrien. I'm a friend of Ralph's for over 30 years, and I met him at a Mercedes dealership. I went to work there for a short time. I wanted to try it out, but it wasn't for me because they're all automatics, you know, you can't shift any gears. And he called me in on this one particular car for a friend of his, and it was an RS Tribute. And, you know, I got interested in it, and he said, can you put together an engine for it? So what I have on the bottom end is I have a 3.2-liter crank, rods, oil pump, pistons, and cylinders. But on the top end, we decided to use 3-liter small port cylinder heads. And I like the small port because it makes it really torquey, and it'll have a lot more horsepower than it originally did. Originally, the car had a 2.4-liter CIS injected engine, and instead of modifying the fuel system completely, I decided to retain the CIS system, but I wanted to increase the displacement. And we dolled it up a little bit, but we wanted something simple, reliable, not too crazy in expenses, easy to maintain, and, you know, fun to drive. And, you know, we had all the components on the shelf. We put it together and sit right over here. Well, it's a tedious process. It requires a lot of experience and knowledge and skill. I mean, everything has to be dead on. Otherwise, it can be catastrophic. And it's not something that's easily replaceable, expensive components. And we have to make it last and work sound perfectly. So it takes a lot of time, a lot of patience, some skill, some experience. It's all what it requires.
It's really clean, the glass now. Actually, when Art went to remove the dash pad from the car, it looks like one of the casualties of doing that is now we have to order a new windshield.
We've just finished up the transmission, and we're putting a limited slip 915 transmission in there because this car's running some pretty wide tires, so we want it to grip pretty good. And we're about to put the clutch and flywheel pack on the engine, and the transmission's almost getting on this tail section put in, and we're gonna mate them today. That's it. We just want to get it in the car as soon as possible.
So I got a call from my good friend Giacomino, and he has an early Fiat 500, which is a Fiat 500. Now, an early car registered in California would have had a black plate. The plate that's on it is white. Doesn't look right. He really wants the original plate on this car, and I think I have one in my office that we can designate to that car because it's the correct year model plate for the car. So I just got to see if hopefully I can find it and bring it to him. We'll make a nice surprise for him and put it on the car. The car right now currently is in the basement of the Peterson Museum. It's a very special car, and they didn't make very many, and this is a really nice example of one, and he really wants it to be 100% correct. That's the one I need. So Art Berrien was nice enough to build this beautiful engine for the Porsche 911 that's on the rack behind us.
It's going to be a nippy little motor. I mean, we wanted to keep it simple. We could have gone crazy and spent a ton of money and complicate this, but for the particular owner of the car, he just wanted something that was torquey, reliable, easy to maintain, and this is the best formula for him.
I'm going to give him a hand, and we're going to try and attempt to put it in the car and move this project forward a little bit.
Okay. Can you see in the bottom? It's in? Okay, give me that one. Slower. Easy, easy. Okay. One more time. Okay, that's it. Get the bolts. We can raise it up.
Look at that. It's a thing of beauty.
Well, we managed to get the engine off the stem into the chassis, and that was our goal today.
You know, the most important part of this car is the engine. Without it, it's just a shell. It's not even a car. And the engine is physically in the car, so we don't have too much more to go. Some cosmetic stuff, some buttoning up to do, but we're 80% there now.
Of course, we're gonna put the muffler in. We have to hook up all our fuel lines.
Shifter linkage.
Shift linkage, accelerator linkage, and then we can put the oil in and hook up the batteries, and she's ready to go. For me, Porsche, the 911 is a passion. It's not just a job. I mean, I love these cars. I've been around them since I was 19 years old, and they're so versatile. You can switch parts from different years and enhance it and improve things, and they fit. A lot of parts just fit right in. I'm anxious to to hear it and take it for a test ride.
Soon.
Good job. Good job.
Soon. We'll be driving it.
Yeah. So we just need some touch-up paint in the front fender and the hood and the front balance. And they're going to buff the rest of the car out. And we're going to put the glass in it and get the right rims and tires. By that time, I'll have it dialed in and tuned up on the rack itself. But then we're going to take it for a break-in test ride, and then we'll know.
A trademark of the Porsche 911 is the horizontally opposed six-cylinder engine, known as the boxer engine. The pistons move back and forth in opposite directions at the same time, somewhat like a boxer punching his gloves together before a fight. The Porsche 911 used an air-cooled engine for 34 years until switching to water-cooled engines in 1998. Many Porsche purists considered this the end of the true 911. The Porsche 911 RS Tribute now has a new 3.2-liter engine built and fitted. But linkages, gas tank, paint, and wheels are still needed before this car is ready to drive.
Adam, how are you?
You pushing this all by yourself? Hi, my name is Adam Fleiner, Fleiner Automotive. I do the body work and paint for Ralph on all his cars. Pink, huh?
Yeah, it's called Raspberry Pink. So Art and I finally managed to get the engine installed in Pinky in the 911 RS. So I'm here today at Adam Fleiner's shop. We're going to repaint the front fender, the hood. There was a little bit of a rust issue underneath the windshield on the right side, which is common. A couple little dings that need to be worked on. And finally, the front RS bumper came in. So we're going to paint all that stuff with Adam now, and then we can finish the rest of the work we need to do on the car. The hood needs to be readjusted, but it's too tight of a gap here.
We'll also make sure that the curve,
Yeah.
put a little mark over here. We'll just check out what's going on there. There's got to be some work done there.
Yep. Adam and I have done some pretty incredible restoration jobs together on some cars that were concourse winners. And at the same time, I know that I could bring a car for him for a simple scratch and bumper repair, and he's versatile enough to do both.
A little bit of rust here around the windshield. Typical.
Yeah.
We'll put some special stuff to stop it from rusting. So.
Yeah, just stop it. Yeah, it's a rust inhibitor.
It's got some body damage on it, some previous damage. It looks like it was a race car, track car, fender, a hood, repaint a bumper, a special bumper, and align some panels. Yeah, not a problem. Not a problem.
Good. I know that it's in good hands. I know you can handle it.
Yeah. No, that'll be easy. Easy. We'll look for the old formula for this car. The trick to doing a panel by panel paint job rather than a full paint job is to deceiving your eye into believing that we've painted more than we have. It has to be a good enough space where you can't tell if it's just new paint and old paint touching each other. But if you have a certain amount of space, your eye can't see the difference. And that's what you have to be good at. And if you're doing it and being able to make it look right makes it a good paint job. Ooh, this looks like fun.
Yeah, the motor's all done. It's a 73 later model 3.2 twin plug.
Fast.
Yeah, it'll almost carry the front wheels off the ground.
Okay, cool. We'll get on it. We'll get on it. All right, cool. Perfect.
Thanks, Adam.
Not a problem. I probably own 4 or 5 Porsches myself. I've got a soft spot in my heart for them. 80s Porsches specifically, it's an all-around car. If you drive it normally, it's great. And if you drive it like an animal, it's a race car. It was a race car for the streets.
I trust Adam. He does a really good job, and we work well together.
This is a fuel tank to the 911, and apparently the car's been sitting for quite some time, so it's built some condensation in the tank and caused it to do some rust scaling. So I don't want any of that sediment going up into the engine, into the fuel injection system, and causing problems. Now's the time, since the tank is already out of the car, to send it out, and they treat it with a certain chemical that etches the metal in there, and then they coat it with another chemical, and it prevents it from rusting again. It's very important to address the rust scale now prior to putting it in, because once you put it in and you put fuel in there, and it's very easily, the scales will break loose, it'll go through the fuel pump. First thing it does is damage the pump, you know, and we don't want that.
So I'm here today at the Peterson Museum to visit Giacomino Drago at his Drago restaurant here. And I've got his license plate for his Fiat 500, so I can't wait to show it to him. I hope that he likes it. Hello. I was wondering if you could help me find Giacomino. He should be here. Oh, there he is.
Bello, Ralph, come stai?
Molto
going
bene.
on?
Good. I have a little surprise for you.
My name is Giacomino Drago, and we have Drago Ristorante at the Peterson Automotive Museum. I love this car. It's a 1967 Fiat 500. There is one thing that is missing in this car, is the license plate. And I know that Ralph can make that happen. Wow, my license plate for the Fiat.
Yeah. The correct
Thank you.
one, the original one.
Thank you, this is beautiful.
Good. Let's go put
Grazie.
it. Let's go see how it looks on the car.
All right.
We got the car back from paint from Fleiner, and we sent the car over to Art because we needed to do some other additional work, fitting in the wheels, double checking the sway bars.
Ralph's bringing over a set of wheels, front and rear, and I'm hoping they're gonna fit. So we're gonna try it out and, you know, see if the stud length and the offset's okay. So I'm anxious to see what we're getting into. What do you think?
I don't think it needs anything. It fits right on.
How about the studs?
Perfect. You have room on the inside?
It's really close to the oil line, but just enough. We got about a ½ inch clearance to the oil lines.
Yeah. Now, don't forget, when you load the suspension, it's going to go in.
Right. It's gonna
A little
we're
bit
gonna
more. It's
we're
gonna
gonna run
camber in a
1
little
degree
bit.
camber on the rear.
Because this is a resto mod and it's getting a lot more horsepower than it was intended, there's a lot of trial and error. We have to test fit, come back, readjust. Sometimes things don't just fit right in because it's not the way the car was built from the factory. All right, here we go.
Okay. So, but it looks small now. The caliber looks small, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, you could actually get away with putting the big brake kit on it
I
now.
could put a 930 caliper in the front.
You could, with a larger diameter rotor. Well, the wheels and tires that I brought over were a much larger diameter, and the offset's a little bit different. But it's got pretty wide fender flares, so it looks like it's just barely gonna fit. But because I went to a much larger wheel and tire, now the front brakes look like they're smaller. So Art had a good solution. We're gonna put the 930 turbo brake calipers and rotors in the front, and that'll fill in the front and also give it a little more stopping power.
Look at that, Ralph. We're lucky. Those wheels look beautiful on there.
Yeah, I'm glad those wheels worked out.
Those are weird-looking flares, but once the car's down, we might have to put some spacers back there. But it looks good. It
Yeah.
looks really good. All right, man. Thank you for coming by.
Awesome.
Bringing over some stuff. And if you want to come by this evening and give us a hand, why not?
Okay.
All right. We're working our way through. There's a lot of work to be done. There's a lot of work to be done. We're modifying, so things don't just perfectly fit, you know? So there's certain enhancements that need to be done. All these things have to be taken into account.
So we got the bulk of the work done on this car. It looks like it's almost ready to go, but however, the last 10% is what takes the most time. And those are the little small details of fitting all the last things on the car to make it 100%.
Initially, only 500 units of the Carrera RS were made, in fear that it wouldn't sell. The model sold out in a week. A total of 1,590 units were made between 1973 and 1974. Many replicas exist today as a tribute to the original. Pristine versions of the original car have gone on to sell for more than $1 million at auctions today. The paint is done and the wheels are installed on the 1973 Porsche 911 RS Tribute. Ralph and his team just need to put some finishing touches on the car before it's done.
So let's go take a look at your car.
And see my baby.
Yeah.
Thank you for making that happen. That was so beautiful.
Oh, it's my pleasure. So I came this morning to see my good friend Giacomino, and the one thing has been bothering him about his Fiat Cinquecento. It's beautifully done, it's very simple. Only one thing was wrong with it. It had the white California license plate, which drove him crazy. It just clashes, it doesn't work with the car. It's like the garnish on top of the plate, right? You have to have the last little detail.
Oh, yes.
So I had to do a little digging, and I found the correct year version black license plate for that particular car. So it had to be the original one. I know you could go to the DMV and get a replica one, but I know Giacomino likes to have everything exact, and the original one is the only one that's going to do on this car.
Wow, look at this.
Yeah, it looks great, doesn't it?
I can't believe it. But now we are in the final touch.
This white license plate doesn't fit the car. Either you have to have an Italian license plate or you have to have a black license plate.
Wow.
I think the black license plate's going to look much better.
Thank you, Ralph.
He took a step back, and then I think he really took it in and liked it. The colors, the black and yellow with the emblems and the red and yellow taillights, everything it looks cohesive. Everything matches now.
Raffaele, quello è bellissimo.
What do you think?
That is beautiful.
Good, good. I'm glad you like it.
Beautiful, beautiful. This, with the car, the black, I think blends a lot.
Yeah, and you got the nice color keys from here and here.
So the yellow reflects.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Well, I wouldn't expect anything less from Ralph. The license plate was the perfect gift. I don't know how to thank him to make it happen. And it's beautiful. This is what life is all about.
The 1973 Porsche 911 Carrera RS Tribute is complete. The exterior was paint matched and completed. A custom-built 3.2-liter twin-plug engine and transmission were added, and a new set of wheels were wrapped with new tires.
Ooh. I love this car. It's so pretty. Look at that. Let's talk about what Alex Lane is into this car for and where we are financially, because that's
Okay.
important. So what we're at is we're at 85,000.
Yeah.
You did really good. You went under budget. I'm really happy with this build. Let's see how Nick says it's going to be, but I think this is a real winner.
Oh, speak of the devil.
Wow, put the sunglasses on. I nearly didn't see it.
How are you?
Hello.
You almost
Good to
missed
see
it?
you.
Yeah. So Ralph and Kelly called me back in today to have a look at the pink Porsche. Actually, it's a beautiful colour. Black wheels obviously set it off. It's a pretty striking colour for this car.
Porsche Raspberry Pink, they call it.
It's a Porsche colour?
Factory original raspberry
Yes.
pink.
Wow.
You know, it's one of those paint to sample special order
Yeah.
colors.
Well, obviously the pink is the first thing that strikes. Quite shocked to find out that it was an original Porsche colour, and I think it lends well to the car, especially with the modifications, especially in the RSR trim. Oh my Lord! Oh,
Yes.
Here we go again.
Here we go again.
Right.
You know that I can't leave well enough alone.
No. I've resigned myself.
So I went to my friend Art, who does nothing but build these engines, and I had him build for me a 3.2-liter stroker motor with CIS injection.
Right.
We put a 5-speed manual gearbox in it with limited slip, and it's all dialed in. So it's got brakes, it's got suspension. If you look through the front wheel, you'll see the signature RS caliper.
That's getting hard to find.
It's extremely hard to find. But Art was instrumental in getting the parts that we needed.
The interesting part about building an RSR is obviously the components, whether you can find them, and if you can find them, how much they cost. And to put the proper RSR components on there is an expensive prospect, but it's to do it right, and that's to make literally a good replica of the $1 million version.
Little navigation screen, and then a modern Alpine radio with Bluetooth capability, so he can talk on the phone as if you could hear anybody over the sound of that engine.
I did clock the exhaust pipe. I'm sure it's not the quietest of cars
Would you like to hear it?
Sure, why
Why
not?
don't you start up?
Is it louder than the paint job?
Got it.
Well, you were a little bit nervous about the final value in this car because we put a lot of money into it between building the engine, the transmission, the RSR suspension, wheels and tires. We did have to do some paint work to the front of it. All in all, we spent a fair amount of money on the car.
So, we've got pretty solid floors in here.
So the fuel tank was taken out,
Right.
completely flushed. That's why it's that brand new gray color.
So, RSR conversions, as I say, they're inherently expensive, and it's better because of the parts. You've got the brakes. What did you do to suspension?
RS suspension.
You did?
Control arms, everything.
So I guess you want an appraisal. You want a value on it. I think in today's market, a good RSR conversion, they're conservatively $120,000, and finish up the little bits and pieces, some interior work and stuff like that, you're probably looking at 140, 160, and fairly readily. It's a drivable car.
Yeah.
And,
Well, that's what he
and a fun
wanted.
one.
He didn't want $1 million car that he couldn't drive.
Right, exactly.
Although it's a replica, although it's a modified and a customized car, they're done fairly often, and it's easy to find a comparable car at sale to come up with value.
I'm happy, and I was really happy with what Nick had to say.
Yeah, me too. I think that I think it worked out really well. Customers gonna be really happy with it.
Yeah.
And now I'm kind of sad to see it go.
It's a really cute car.
Yeah,
Great. Hope it worked out for you.
Thank you.
I think so.
Good to see you.
Yeah.